Hi, everybody. It's Amanda Lansing, the chairwoman again. Thank you for your patience. Before we go ahead and officially open the meeting, if I could please ask all of the commissioners to turn their cameras on. And if you are here to speak or present, when you're speaking or presenting, you're welcome to turn your camera on if you wish, but it's not required. We just need to have all of the commissioners have theirs on for the duration of the meeting. Great, so the time is 6:08 p.m. on Tuesday, February 9th. I will now officially open this meeting of the Leominster Conservation Commission. As we all know, these meetings are continuing to be held virtually because of COVID, so everything that is said in the chat or said on the call is recorded as part of the public record.
Hi, this is Angela Chbesky, the conservation agent for the city of Leominster. I will now do the roll call of our members. Chairwoman Amanda Lansing.
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Elizabeth Ricci-Blair.
Here.
Chuck Raymond.
Oh, sorry, here.
And Jeffrey Goyne is absent from this meeting, so we have 3 members, which still carries a quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you, Angela. We have one new hearing on the agenda for tonight. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Mass Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to consider an amended order of conditions filed for the construction of a single-family home, but changes in the house layout and driveway positioning. Address is 0 Hillary Road, map 413, parcel 7, DEP file 1991090. Do we have anyone on the call representing that project tonight?
Yes, ma'am. You have Chris Anderson with Handy Engineering.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Well, me. So just a general overview, we're currently before the commission for a request for an amendment to the order of conditions issued for a single family home off of Hillary Road in Leominster. This project was back before the commission back in 2019. At that point in time, we reevaluated the wetland delineation along the west or the northerly portion of the property with a great deal of extent, if a couple of the commission members remember from back then. Under that original proposal, the work included the construction of the single-family home, associated septic system, driveway, and some stormwater management features, including a rain garden. It's the intent of the applicant to construct, or I should say that since that original filing, the property has changed hands. It's the intent of the current property owner, Diane Perlotta, to construct an updated house on the property. Due to the configuration of the new house footprint, the house has been shifted slightly closer to the wetland by about 7 feet, and the driveway has been adjusted as well in order to provide adequate access to the house itself. A note to be made is that the original limit of work has remained unchanged since the original approval. But due to the reconfiguration of the house and the drive, we felt that an amendment to the order conditions was a more prudent method for the project to move forward. Besides that, the general intent of the site has been maintained relative to site grading, drainage, and everything like that. If there's any questions by the commission, I'll be more than happy to answer
them. This is Amanda Lansing. Chris, how much larger is the footprint of, or do you know offhand, how much larger is the footprint of the house and the driveway from the original?
Yep. So the original house was about 16,070 feet, or it's been a long day, 1,670 feet. The new house footprint is approximately 2,200 square feet. So you're looking at about an increase of 530 square feet total. And the driveway has remained generally in the same location. It's just been shifted. So the increase in impervious by the drive is de minimis.
Okay, great. Thank you. And has that affected, has the larger footprint affected any of the drainage calculations?
Not necessarily. The project is exempt from the stormwater management as it's a single family home. We are still including the proposed rain garden that will help mitigate some of the flows from the overall property upon the completion of construction, and that ultimately ties into the municipal system as well.
That's right. Okay. So I guess I misspoke. I apologize. So for this one, I guess my question is the size of the rain garden appropriate if there is more impact on the work area? So if we're covering, if the size of the house is larger, we're covering more area, does that change how big that rain garden needs to be to mitigate any runoff?
It won't necessarily need to be larger. Because of the nature of the scope of the project, there's not much water getting from this area into this little basin, or rain garden, if you will. It's more of a surcharge feature rather than a detention or retention feature. It's only going to be with some small vegetation plantings inside it to help mitigate some of the impervious area. But if the commission does have a concern, currently we're showing about a 6-inch awning depth within the rain garden. There is the potential that we can kick that up to about 12 inches just to add a little bit more capacity within that rain garden. And so that is an option that we can provide as part of the project, as part of this amendment as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then I guess I just have one other question. Is the placement of the house being closer to the wetland just a factor of the footprint of the house, or has it actually been moved back?
The house has been moved back a little bit closer towards the southerly property line to help mitigate some of the closer encroachments of the house to the wetlands. Currently, the setback within the zoning district is 15 feet. As shown, we're 16 feet off the property line. So we're as far over as we can to the property. And the lengthening of the structure itself is more just dedicated to the reconfiguration of the house. The house that was originally approved is more of a generic colonial style house that we see in this part of the state. But it was with the intent of the applicant just to utilize a different house footprint that was originally approved.
Great, thank you. Liz or Chuck, do you guys have any questions or concerns? I know myself and Liz were on the commission when this project first came before us. But please, if you have questions or comments, please go ahead.
Liz, you all set? This is Chuck Raymond. You all set?
Well, so I was just, did we ever do a site visit or anything on this, Amanda? Do you remember?
Yes, I know I did. I'm not sure if the full commission did the walk for this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I did.
Through the chair, relative to that, I don't believe you were there at that sidewalk. I think it was a few of us at the time, and I do know that the chairwoman was there, so that Amanda, you were there. Elizabeth, I don't remember you being there. If you were, you would have remembered that we had to hike up a hill and a half to get to an old cart road on the upper portion of the abutting property.
Okay, that's the, yeah. Yeah, I didn't make it for that one. I am familiar with that area, though. I know there's like, you know, basically just mount or hill in the back. So
Yeah, the mountain like, pretty much right behind this house.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, hi, this is Chuck Raymond again. To be perfectly honest, I'm not comfortable in amending an existing order conditions. This seems to me something other than minor. I think adding 500 square feet to a house, I think is something other than minor. I'd be kind of uncomfortable simply amending an existing order for it. That's my statement.
Okay, thank you. Chuck, do you have any, just so we can kind of have a chat about it, is there any particular concern aside from just the house being that much bigger that you have?
No, I think that's really it. I like the idea of the rain garden. Any kind of green infrastructure like that is always a bonus and a nice added feature. But no, to me, it literally comes down to, I don't consider this a minor change that would warrant amending an existing order. Seems to me something other than that. If that makes sense, I hope it does.
Okay, nope, fair enough. I totally see that viewpoint, and I'm leaning that way as well, just because it is quite a bit larger. So I suppose now, because I don't really have any more questions. I know we talked about this quite a bit, and the big concern was that retaining wall the first time around. Chris, that retaining wall, nothing's being changed as far as the way that was originally designed, right?
There's several retaining walls around this building. Some of the smaller ones are anticipated to be utilizing some of the rock that's present on the site. Any wall that's over the required 4-foot height will need to be reviewed by a structural engineer to make sure that it is the code. But
Hi, this is Angela here. Hold on one second, Chris. We kind of lost you there. Can you start that over again, please?
Sure. The general intent of the retaining walls has remained unchanged. It is the intent of the applicant that during the course of construction, just because of the nature of this area, that there's a significant amount of stone in the soil, that any of the smaller retaining walls will be constructed out of that field stone, if you will. Any wall that's in excess of the required 4 feet would require a structural analysis by an engineer, a structural engineer, and would require a building permit. So if that does get to that point in time, that will be reviewed by a structural engineer. But the general intent and layout of the retaining walls has remained unchanged.
This is Amanda again. Okay, great, thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments from the commission before I open this up to public comment? Okay, so I would like to open this up to public comment now. If you do wish to speak, please go ahead and unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, who's that speaking?
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a delay and I was having difficulty unmuting, but I'm glad I did. My name is Sushalafu Zephyr and I live at 900 West Street. So I am in a butter to this property. I've lived in the neighborhood for many, many years and I'm familiar with that particular property. And my concerns, I think, were raised pretty much by earlier comments. So I'll repeat them just briefly, just to be on the record. The expansion of the house, the 530 feet, I think, or 570 additional feet. I mean, that's obviously it's more roof, it's more impervious surface, so there'll be some impact on the area or whatever is draining into that rain garden from that expansion. And one thing that I heard that I think is a concern, I'll just point out, is the rain garden is tied into the municipal drainage system. The municipal drainage up in that area in particular has always been a big problem. If you check with the DPW, they can describe it in a lot more technical detail, but there's consistently flooding in that area along Hillary Road and then along at the corner of Hillary Road and West Street. Recently, there was a huge flood and a motorist actually had to be towed out. The fire department was there. The person tried to drive through. It was probably about 3 feet of water. And that isn't an unusual event. I mean, it's happened periodically. So my concern, I raise these as examples of concerns with the overall drainage in the area and then adding additional drainage through the rain garden into the municipal system, I just think is a concern that I have. And I guess I have a question. In looking at the plan, was the septic system, I know the area, so in back of the house, it's all ledge. It's a big steep hill, but it's also all ledge. So in this plan, was in the changed plan or the amended plan, was the septic system moved at all, or is that in the same spot? And did it expand? I don't know if it got bigger or if the location changed.
Through the chair, the septic system has remained unchanged since the original approvals. It has been approved by the Board of Health and does have valid septic testing in the form of perk testing and deep hole observations to determine the elevation of the ledge, if present, and or the groundwater table in this area. Relative to the drainage system, currently the site flows into this area and will remain to do so as so. You can't change the drainage pattern, the general intent of the drainage pattern in this area, as it all flows down into Hillary Road. And we acknowledge that there might be issues in the municipal drainage system, but it's a pre-existing condition.
May I ask, when was the perk test done?
In
For the
2007.
I'm sorry?
2007.
2007, okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. You got all your questions answered, Sue?
I have for now. If I have any other ones, I may just wave.
Okay, sure. Absolutely. Okay, so this is Amanda again. Given those comments, the best thing, we as a commission, we have to decide whether or not we would want to sorry, my apologies, my mic keeps going on and off for some reason. We would want to decide whether we would accept the amended the amended order of conditions, whether we wanted to go that route or request a new notice of intent for this project. While I do recognize and appreciate that the overall intent of the project has not changed, and they are staying within the original footprint. In my mind, an amended order is for a relatively minor change. This is a significantly larger house, and so I think that's definitely something that needs to be considered. That is a significant amount of growth on the footprint of the land there.
Through the chair.
Yes, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry. So I'm hearing some hesitation relative to the amendment to the order condition. Yes, we are increasing the overall scope of the footprint of the house. If it's amendable to Commissioner Raymond, I believe the concerns relative to the overall scope of the house. If we were to request a continuance on this, to reevaluate potential options to help mitigate or provide additional storage or roof drain runoff or some sort of additional mitigation to offset the increase in the 500 square feet of short that the house is enlarging by, would that be an amendable option relative, rather than filing a whole new notice of intent? The project scope wouldn't change relative to a notice of intent versus an amendment, but it's another option to keep the project moving. It is the intent of the applicant to get moving on construction as soon as possible.
Is that a question for me? Am I supposed to answer that? I will, but I'm not sure if that's appropriate.
Yes, go ahead, Chuck.
Great, Gary, thank you. Honestly, I'd rather not be in a position of making deals. I think my opinion stands in that this adding 500 and something square feet to the size of the house is not a minor change, and I don't think an amended order conditions is appropriate. And like I said, I'd rather not just see it or start in the position of making.
Okay, great. I appreciate that feedback, Chuck. We can have a motion to continue this if necessary. But I think we may kind of all be on the same page here. I don't like holding up projects unnecessarily. That's certainly not what we agreed. And while it may not severely impact the area, I think the concerns are valid that it's larger. And I think looking at most projects, if the change was going to be this large, regardless, I think I would also feel similarly. But I will call for a motion, and so the motion is to either continue this to allow us to maybe get more information, or if anyone wants to do another site walk to get eyes on the site and see what's going on out there, or we can vote to amend it, or we can vote to request a new notice of intent for this project.
This is Liz. I just want to clarify real quick because I feel like I've heard two different terms now. So is the added 500 square feet, is it making a change to the footprint or not? Like, is the house just, increasing in height, or is there actual, is the roof changing and all that?
Hi, Liz.
It would be an enlargement of the house's footprint itself.
Sorry, say that again.
The house is growing by 530 square feet in footprint area.
Okay, so the footprint itself. Okay.
Can I just pipe in? I'm sorry, this is Diane. Can I just pipe in? The 500 feet is mainly the added was the garage area for us to put a garage in. So it's going more to the left of the house, or if you're looking from the street to the right. That's mainly where the square footage got added in. Just wanted to put my input in on that. not on the living space of the house.
Okay, that does help though. So now I can at least visualize it a bit better.
Yeah, that extra footage was just for us to have to pretty much put in our 2-car garage.
I understand.
Hi, this is Angela. Liz, on the screen right now, I have the new proposed plan, and I can switch over to the old proposed plan in one moment.
Well, I think you drew, was that supposed to be like what the new, oh, okay.
Yep, so this is
That
the
works
old
too.
proposed plan, and the footprint and layout of the house. And then the
Okay,
new
that,
one,
yes, that's the new one.
yes, this is the 50-foot
Yeah.
buffer zone line, and this is where most of the, there you go.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Yeah, that is,
if I could just pipe in, that's the garage side.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty significant to me too, though.
This is Amanda again, and just for the property owner, I want to clarify it's less about whether the footprint is the garage or the living area, and it's more about the fact that pretty much the whole structure is within the 100-foot protected buffer zone. So, the concern is that we're impacting that buffer zone even more by increasing the footprint. And also, to further clarify so everyone understands, is that if the commission does decide to request a new notice of intent, that should not be taken as a decision on whether or not that permit is accepted or denied. It just allows us to have more information on the record. It allows us to better protect that area, in my opinion. It gives us a little more ability to ensure that things are being done appropriately. So just because we request a new notice of intent does not mean that we're not going to let you do your project. But I think because it's a new layout, it's a significantly larger footprint, and I think that is where the commission's concern lies. So I would like to call for a motion, and again, that motion can be to vote to accept this the amendment, or to request a new notice of intent for the new layout of the project, or to continue the project if you think that seeing the property or getting more information or something would help you with your decision.
So are you looking for one of us to make a motion?
Yes,
Okay.
as I cannot make a motion.
Angela is just make sure. Angela, is that the appropriate thing that Liz or I should make a motion?
Hi, this is Angela here. Yes, so one of the commissioners can make an motion to continue with allowing the amendment of the permit, or they may make a motion to continue the hearing to allow more time to supply more information, or you can make a motion to state that this is not a minor change and does not qualify for an amendment and would require filing of a new notice of intent.
Excuse me, can I ask you again, can you clarify the notice of intent? You just need more information on that? More information for the record?
Yeah, so this is Amanda Lansing, the chairwoman. So basically, what it's doing is it's giving us a new permit application to issue a new order of conditions on this project, because the permit that was previously issued, while yes, it was for a house to be built on this property, amended order of conditions are typically for much smaller changes. So the commission does have the ability to request a new notice of intent to issue a new permit that is specific to this project, this footprint, this plan. I'm not sure, Angela, is there any additional, that is my solid understanding of it. If there's anything else that you would want to add that might help clarify it, I would appreciate it. Just what the difference really is.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, this is Angela. So basically, the notice of intent is to file for the permit, and an amendment to that notice of intent permit would be the order of conditions. So it's an amendment to an order of conditions, and that would be for a minor change. It is up to the commission's jurisdiction on what qualifies as a minor change. I do have some notes on it because it is something that not everyone is very familiar with, because it could differ. Everyone's opinion would be different. What is considered a minor change? But typically, the questions you need to ask yourself: has the purpose of the project changed? Is the scope or potential for adverse impacts to the interests increase or decline? Does it meet the standards? And basically, it's up to the commission to decide in their jurisdictional, when they vote, if this project would be okay as a minor change and be okay under an amendment, or if they really feel it would require a new filing.
Okay, can I just ask, this is Diane again. This is a 500 feet change, so you're considering this a major change and not a minor change to the commission?
Hi, this is Angela here.
This is Chuck
At
Raymond.
this time,
Oh.
no one's taken a vote or made a motion yet, so the commission hasn't stated what they feel yet, like as a whole.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't know what the difference is between a major and a minor change.
Hi, this is Angela here again. So technically, it is up to the commission's jurisdiction to decide if it's a minor change. In the past, I've seen minor changes are they added a fence, they added a larger driveway farther out of the buffer zone, or they added a deck on that doesn't have any impacts on exempt activity. It does depend on the commission. Each commission will have a different opinion. Everyone has different experiences that lead them to that decision. But in the end, that's why there's more than one person making a decision. It's a commission that votes to determine that.
Thank you.
Chuck, did you have a comment?
No, I was trying to answer the woman's question, and Angela did a perfectly fine job.
Okay, great.
May I make a comment? This is Sue Shalafu.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. In looking at the change in square footage, 530 square feet is a 33% increase over the approved prior square footage of 1,600. So 33, it's more than a third larger. I mean, that seems to me to be significant. I just want to point that. I just did the math quick. That seems substantial from my perspective.
This is Amanda again. Yes, thank you for that. I think, I think my concern just comes from the fact that that larger footprint encroaches into the 50-foot buffer zone even more. And obviously we have a 100-foot protected buffer zone for a reason. So my personal opinion is I hate to shouldn't say this. My concern comes when we increase the footprint within that buffer zone. So I think everyone's concerns and comments are valid, and I do appreciate all of the input. Do we have any other questions or discussion? I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of the choices and kind of understands what the various options are and why. Okay, and is there anybody else on the call from the public who wishes to make a statement? Second time? Third and final time. Okay, I am going to go ahead and close the public comment period now. So I will ask the commission at this point to make a motion. There's no right or wrong motion. It's just motion kind of the way that you feel towards this project.
I'll take that one on. Yeah, this is Chuck Raymond. It's my opinion that this is not a minor change to an existing order of conditions, and so I would request, my motion would be to request a new notice of intent for the property. I don't have the agenda in front of me, but the address on the agenda.
Hillary Road.
Thank you. 0 Hillary Road. Yeah.
This is Liz. I'll second.
Hi, this is Angela. The rest of the vote will be done by roll call. Amanda Lansing, Chairwoman Amanda Lansing, how do you vote?
I will also vote aye to request a new notice of intent for this.
So the motion carries. The request for amendment to the order of conditions has been denied, and this does constitute as a major change and would require the filing of a new notice of intent for Hillary Road, DEP file number 1991090.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. Okay, that is the only new hearing on the agenda tonight. We do not have any new or old business to talk about. Our one certificate of compliance for 35 Day Street, DEP 199-1059, is continued to the spring. As we've discussed, we are waiting to see if the wetland restoration area has grown back appropriately. Extension permits, 96 Exchange Street is requesting a 3-year extension, and it does not look like we have had any additional updates on that. Angela, is that correct? We don't have anything else to discuss on that one?
I apologize. We're talking about the extension permit for 96 Exchange Street. I was trying to close out some of the old windows I had open.
That's okay. Yeah, just asking if we have anything that we need to bring up tonight regarding that one.
At this time, no. I've been looking into it. I haven't heard anything back from Mr. Xeris or his son on the project, or Mr. Morrow, who's the wetland scientist. I did reach out to KP Law in regards to extension permits and the COVID regulations that have been put in place to allow for basically applicants, if a permit's going to expire within the state of emergency, their permit actually technically does not expire. It will expire basically once the state of emergency is lifted, whatever time period. It's kind of hard to explain. Basically, for example, say a permit expires on July 1st and the state of emergency will be lifted on July 8th. The permit will be extended past the original date of July 1st. however many days are between March 1st and July 1st, when the state of emergency began. So it's been advised if we do get extension permits at this time to kind of discourage them from filing them because we don't technically know when the state of emergency will be fully lifted. So my idea would be to just, as I get them, to put them on the agenda under extension permits and to continue them, because I don't want to forget about them, as well as I don't want to lose them or lose track of when they expire, so that when the state of emergency is lifted, we can kind of issue them all as they come with the correct dates. I apologize, this is all kind of new for us. We all kind of have to go to trainings and figure it out. All the agents are kind of scrambling to figure out what to do with all these different regulations and how they apply to all the different permits.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense to me. I think, yeah, I think it's a great idea. If they do come in, put them on the agenda, we can just continue them and then, kind of move forward as we need to. Communications, the draft legislation for the Mass Legislature, does this have to do with the public meeting policies?
Hi, this is Angela. Yes, I did send out the email. It was brought to my attention by our planning director, Miss Elizabeth Wood. It was something that she learned about the MMA conference, and basically she's asking for the commission to also support the planning board's letter that they had sent to the mayor, asking for him to support the bill, as well as our state representative, Natalie Higgins. I sent everyone a copy of it. I can just try and pull it up here. Basically, it's allowing for us, even after the pandemic, to use Zoom meetings and virtual meetings and have it be accepted as a part of open meeting law. I'm trying to see. Oops, it won't let me share it. Let me go back. Hold on one moment. I'm having an issue here with the sharing the screen of the email. Share screen. Here we go. I apologize. So basically it just states and allows commissions and boards and public entities to continue to use Zoom. So if there is a snowstorm or if for some reason City Hall is closed down, they can still conduct business. Did everyone have a chance to review the document? I believe it was only one page. Yeah, it's only one page.
Yeah, this is Chuck. I just read it before the meeting, so I apologize. But no, I completely agree with it. I think any way we can make these meetings more accessible to the public and for people to participate, I think the better. So I'm all in favor of it.
This is Amanda. Yeah, I am too. And I was thinking about it, and the other thing that I think it could be helpful to is even representatives who present projects to us. I have myself been in the position where I was supposed to be in two places at once for commission meetings, and it could be a way to to allow people a little more flexibility in being able to do their presentations live, remotely, or so we don't have to put things off like we've had to do in the past, several times where somebody's running late or, various numbers of things. And I appreciated the planning board's comment about people who may want to participate from the public, but who, for whatever reason, whether it be illness, whether it be not being mobile enough or just not feeling comfortable after the pandemic, I don't think that should inhibit members of our community from being able to participate in our meetings if they wish. So I think it would be a really great thing, and may even allow for you might see greater participation in some of these things if it's more accessible to a wider range of people. So Angela, are they asking for us through you to also send a similar letter to the mayor?
Ideally, yes, or we could just send a letter saying that we support theirs. Personally, I think it would be in our best interest to have me draft up a letter and send that, basically stating everything you said, something probably very similar to what Elizabeth sent, and offering the commission support and requesting Mayor Mazzarella's support as well, and our state representative, Natalie Higgins.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would also have a little bit, hopefully would have more of an impact, with us having our own letter as well. So is that perhaps, something that you could draft up and send around, and we can just add some comments or additional reasons, or, anything that we might want to add?
Hi, this is Angela. Yes, that would be fine. I do have to double check and see when the deadline is for comments and to endorse it. But if we have to, thankfully for remote meetings, we could have a special meeting very quickly to review the letter if everyone's okay with that.
Okay. Yeah, I would be fine with that. I think it's important enough that I think it would be fine. Okay, any other discussion about that? Are we all on board with that approach and putting our support behind that endeavor?
This is Chuck Raymond. I am good with that, as indicated by my thumbs up a minute ago.
Thank you. And
Yep,
Liz,
this
you're
is
good?
Liz. Yeah, I think it'll be great for all around. Great.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I just wanted to make sure that, on audio, we just have on record that all of us are in support of it. A number of enforcements on the list tonight. Many of them we do not really have any updates for. 9 Penny Lane, we are still waiting on that notice of intent. The Hill Street and Elm Street, lots 1 and 2 enforcements. Nothing new on that, Angela?
Hi, this is Angela. No, at this time, I haven't seen any communication from Mr. Gagney or Mr. Hannigan, who is now representing Ms. Foley. I was going to reach out to the state today to see if they had received anything, but the storm obviously created some obstacles with that. But I was going to send them an email and see if they heard anything from them.
Okay. Well, we will just keep it on the list. 6 Daisy Drive, looks like we have a little bit of an update there.
Hi, this is Angela here. Yes, so the homeowner is willing to allow me on site to inspect the area to see what alterations have been done and compare it to GIS imagery and Google Earth imagery. Unfortunately, we have oh my gosh, I can't talk, a lot of snow on the ground right now, so it's not really going to work for me to tell where the wetland is and if the stream's been altered. So I'm just going to wait for the snow melt, and then I will communicate with Ms. Sanchez's representative and get out there and take a look.
Wonderful. 519 Pleasant Street, I believe we do have some updates on this.
Hi, this is Angela again. Yes, I did send out an email to Mr. Gonzalez after the last meeting to try and get an update from him. His email had stated that he is planning on selling the property, and thanking us for all the help and everything that the commission has done for him over the years. I did respond back to him and inform him that even if he does plan on selling the property, he is still responsible for the enforcement order, or it becomes the next property owner's issue. The enforcement order just doesn't disappear. I also did forward the email to the state representatives at DEP to ask for assistance and guidance on how we should proceed, especially with the history of this project kind of spanning quite some time with the alterations to the streams. I haven't heard back from DEP or Mr. Gonzalez. He did tell me over the weekend that he was going to give me a call today, but I have not heard anything from him.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think we'll just have to wait until our state rep gets back to you, because that's concerning to me. And in my opinion, it is not okay to just leave that and hope that somebody else is going to clean up the mess. So I would definitely appreciate DEP's guidance on how we prevent that from happening, because that's not, and in my opinion, that is not an acceptable response. Thanks for the help, but I'm selling the property, so I don't have to do anything. I don't think that that's fair. So I guess we'll, unless Liz or Chuck, unless you guys have anything that you'd like to add to that, we can just wait until the DEP is able to touch base with Angela and see what their recommendation is.
No, this is Chuck Raymond. I agree with you, Amanda.
Yeah, I
Cool.
agree too. I think the DEP, just waiting on the DEP, and since they've now been contacted, that's great. So
Yeah, and we've given more than enough leeway on this property, so it's not like this is a sudden thing. So I don't have any idea what we can do, but I will definitely await what DEP says. The National Grid Prospect Street Station. We're just kind of leaving this on here, correct, Angela, until we receive information from them.
This is Angela. Yes, correct. So we'd require them to file a retroactive notice of intent for the wetland alteration. They did pull in a butters request list last week, which I sent out to them. So we should have a notice of intent delivered to the office fairly soon.
Perfect. No emergency certifications. Proposed budget. Yearly budget sent out for review.
This is Angela here. This is my error. When I posted the agenda, I made up the agenda. I was planning on having this done before the agenda was posted. Unfortunately, a couple of things had come up in the office, and some of my coworkers who were assisting me with it are out of the office, so I was unable to complete it. I'll leave it on the agenda, because once it's completed, I do want the commission to review it. I will have to ask for an increase in certain areas due to COVID, mainly postage and advertising. So far, in this fiscal year 21, we have gone over $2,000 in budget for advertising. And that's due to the increase in pricing. It used to be $68 around that area to advertise a project. And now it's closer to $150, $170 because of all the extra verbiage we need for the virtual meetings. As well as mileage due to the increase in projects. I have to use my personal car, and they reimburse me for mileage. And with all the projects and all the enforcements and complaints due to COVID and everyone being home, I am going out in the field a lot more often than I was in the past. So I will get that out to everyone with a nice letter explaining everything, just for everyone's information and any questions.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great. The next meeting is Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. Deadline was this past Friday, February 5th at noon. Unless anyone has anything additional that they would like to bring up or discuss, I will ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
this is Liz. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Chuck. I will second that motion.
This is Angela Chebesky, the conservation agent. Chairwoman Amanda Lansing, how do you vote?
I will vote aye to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Wonderful. So this the City of Leominster Conservation Commission meeting is now adjourned at 7:02 p.m. Thank you everyone for all your help and all your hard work. Have a good night and stay safe.